So we are here to reteach triangle classification. That was one of the most missed problems. So we classified triangles two different ways. So we classify triangles by their sides and by their angles. Okay, and you were asked to do both. So when you're looking at the sides, you have three triangles. You have scalene, which means no sides are equal. So all three sides are either going to be marked differently or they're going to have different measurements for each side. Isosceles, that means two of the sides are equal, and you're going to see either two sides marked exactly the same or they're going to have the same measurement there. And then you have equilateral. Equilateral means all three sides are equal and all three sides will be marked exactly the same or have the same measurement. So that's one set of classification, okay, by the sides. The next one is by the angles. So if you see an acute triangle, an acute triangle has three acute angles. That means that's going to be less than 90 degrees. All three angles will be less than 90 degrees. Okay, then we have our right triangle. A right triangle, that means it has to have at least one right angle. Typically you see the corner with a square, that indicates it. But sometimes the side lengths can indicate it too, like you had a 3, 4, 5. That's a right triangle because 3 squared plus 4 squared equals the 5 squared. That's that Pythagorean theorem. So sometimes we can tell without the little corner being set that it's 90 degrees. Then we have obtuse. Obtuse. So that means we have at least one obtuse angle. So that one obtuse angle has to be greater than 90 degrees. It has to be bigger than 90. So if one of these angles is more than 90 degrees, then it makes it obtuse. And it should be marked. It should be obvious because if this is right, anything further to the left is going to be more than that. Okay, so that's our triangle classification. You have your three sides and your three angles. And more than likely, you'll have to identify a triangle by both. Okay, next. Ooh, that double timed it. We have our triangle theorems. Okay, so the first one we learned was the Triangle Sum Theorem. You did pretty good on that one. The sum of the three interior angles is always 180 degrees. As long as there were numbers there, you are fine. Where we got into troubles with the algebra, and that's where I'm going to focus our examples on. Isosceles triangle theorems. If you have two sides congruent, then the angles opposite them are congruent. So in this case of this triangle, angle B would also be equal to angle C. And it also works vice versa. If I know the angles are congruent, then I know the sides are congruent. Equilateral triangle theorem. If the sides have three congruent, if a triangle has three congruent sides, then it has to have three congruent angles. Okay? And it works vice versa. If you have three congruent angles, then you have three congruent sides. Okay, now we've also talked about this. Each angle is going to be 60 degrees. Why? Because 180 divided by 3 equals 60. Okay, so we've talked about that before, how each one is 60 degrees. Then we have our exterior angle theorem. So angle E here, that's our exterior angle, E for exterior. And it's going to equal not the one next to it, but the other two added together, the opposite two opposite ones. Why? Because when I put it together with that third one, that forms that linear pair with it, and that's equal to our exterior angle. All right, so let's get to our examples. Okay. So what we struggled with on the test was the algebraic ones. Okay, we're still adding the three angles. So we're going to have x plus 40, that's the first angle, plus 3x minus 17, that's the second angle, plus 2x minus 5, that's the third angle. We're going to add it together. It's still going to add up to equal 180 degrees. We need to combine like terms. So I have an x, a 3x, and a 2x. Those get combined. So I have 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. So I get 6x, not equals. I got to find out what my numbers are. So I have a positive 40, a negative 17, and a negative 5. So I add those together. 40 plus negative 17 plus negative 5 gives me 18. So I get a positive 18 equals 180. And then I'm just going to solve, because now that I've combined my like terms, I need to get that x term by itself. So I need to subtract 18. So 180 minus 18 is 162. So now I have 6x, because that will go to 0, equals 162. And then I'm going to divide by 6. And when I divide by 6, I get 27. So my x is equal to 27. So that algebra came in here, and that's what was mostly missed, was when we had to deal with the algebraic expressions. We are still adding the three angles together. It's just algebraic. We're going to combine like terms. So I get 6x's, combine my numbers, I get 18, and then I'm still going to solve for x. So x is on the left, I need to move that positive 18. That gets moved over, and I'm left with the x term. That's multiplied by 6, so I divide by 6. Okay, next I have an exterior angle theorem. So if 100 is my exterior angle, that's equal to the two furthest away from it added together. So that 2x plus 3 plus the 51 equals my 100. That's the exterior angle theorem. They equal 100. So I combine like terms. My 2x term is alone, so I don't have to combine that one. I do have a 3 and a 51, so that becomes 3x plus 54. That equals 100. And then I'm going to subtract 54. So I want to get that 2x term by itself, which I have. And 100 minus 54 is 46. And then I divide by 2. So x is going to equal 23. Okay, so now you're going to try the triangle classification and angles on your own. Only the last sets of questions count. Okay, so the last set of questions are the ones that are counting as the retest. Good luck.